Okay, hi guys, I'm back. So the previous video we already discussed the first part, which is of course your heading and the contact information. Next one, and if ever, for example, that you have decided your functional resume, the next should be your educational background. However, I just want to share with this with you. Again, the objective, it's also part of your resume. However, it is what you call optional. If you want to put objective, it's okay. If you don't want to put, it's still okay. Okay, so you have there the contact information, then you have there your objective. If you don't want, it's okay. The next one, because if you're going to use functional resume, that should be the educational background. So it's actually the example here in my reference is a reverse chronological resume. However, I'll just discuss the next part, which is of course your educational background. The educational background should be, of course, you have there your tertiary education. Then after, you have to label it tertiary education. Then you have there your course. Then below, the next line would be the school. Okay, again, your course, the school, and the address of the school. And the next one on this side would be your date or the year when you, let's say for example, when you finish your course, or the time wherein you had your what you call it, your education in this kind of tertiary level. Now in my case, let's say for example, we have there you have to label. Another tip, don't forget to write the label. You have there your educational background. You have to make sure that it has a label, okay? So educational background, then you have there the tertiary level, then below would be your, let's say, my course, Bachelor of Arts in English. Then you have there the name of school below, West Visayas State University, then the address of the school. Then at this side, just in line with the course, just use tab, two tabs or three, you write the year. Let's say for example, I started um June 20, June 2010, I don't know, June 2006 up to March 2010. So that's 4 years. Okay, so that's for the educational background. So you have the tertiary, then followed by the secondary level. So of course in the secondary level, you have there the of course you have there the secondary level, then the name of the school and the address. Then same thing, all all dates should be aligned. Make sure that if you have your date in your tertiary level, it should be aligned with the date as well, or the year as well, of your secondary level. Okay. Um, in my case, I do not anymore write the elementary level, but there are some who still write their, what we call this one, the elementary level. So you can have the freedom to do so if you want to include your elementary year. But in my case, I only use my postgraduate, my tertiary level, and my secondary level. Next is, after your educational background, next would be your work experience. Now, if you don't have work experience, it's okay. Remove the work experience part. Do not anymore write work experience. If you don't have work experience, automatically remove that in your resume. Okay, you go next to your skills or your awards or achievements in school. But do not anymore write what you call this one, a part for, if you, because you really wanted to have a space for the work experience, do not do so. But if you do have your work experience, so this is how you should write your work experience. So you have there the name or the position first, the position in the company. Let's say for example, you were hired as service crew, so you have there the service crew. Then you have to write the company, the name of the company and the address of the company. That's it for the work experience. And on the right side should, again, if you have there the date from your education, it should be aligned also with the date in your work history. Okay, so if for example you started again from the work history, start from the most recent down to the previous or to the old one. Okay, so again, it's still the same. Let's say for example, you have two work experiences or you have two jobs. So the first one should be the recent, of course. So you have there, let's say, customer service representative, let's say the name of the BPO company, then the address. Then at this side would be the year or the date that it covered your, let's say, your job. Then the next one would be same thing. Let's say, for example, you were a service crew. So next, service crew, the name of the company, the address, and the date, and so on. If you have a lot, you have to, let's say, for example, you have 20 job experience. Oh my God, 20 job experiences, for example. 20 jobs. You in my case, I just simply, let's say, write the most recent. So let's say if I have, let's say, 5, so I'll just, or let's say if I have 10 work experience, or I have 10 jobs, I will just select like around 5 or 6 of that. That's it. Anyway, in the interview, you could also justify. Okay, you can justify, but if you want to include, it's actually good if you want to include that. But in my case, because it will not go beyond 2 pages, so I usually indicate my jobs. Next, after your work experience is, of course, your skills. Now, okay, I'll be back. I think it's low bat, so I'll just be back, okay, for the next video. Thank you, and bye. Guys, welcome back. So I ended up with the educational background, so ano, with the work history. Okay, so next one would be your skills. Now, we actually have two kinds of skills. Okay, wait, one quick moment there. We actually have for the skills, always remember that the skills should be related to the job that you're applying for. Let's say, for example, if you want to apply for, let's say, a teacher, well, obviously, the kind of skill should also be related with teaching, okay? So let's say, for example, if you are going to make, let's say, or let's say an IT expert, you want to apply for an IT analyst, so make sure that your skills should be related with computers. So meaning to say, you should be good in computer, you are proficient with the Microsoft, let's say your Excel, your the basic Microsoft thingy, and then you have there your troubleshooting and so on and so forth. So these are the skills that should be related with the position that you're applying for. Now we have two kinds of skills. So we have the soft skill and the hard skills. Now the soft skills are general skills that apply to every job. They are also skills where rules changes from one company or culture to another. Communication skills are an example. So that's why in my case, in my resume, I use usually general. So I have written there, let's say I'm proficient with communication skills. Yeah, proficient in communication skills, both written and oral. So that's for soft skill. So again, these are general skills. So example, worker A may be good at communicating with his colleagues about certain topics or areas about his work, but he cannot talk as much when talking with professionals. Professionals I'm sorry, professionals from other fields. So on the first instance, worker A is an effective communicator. On the second, however, he is ineffective. So meaning to say, generally, he can actually speak, he can communicate well. However, if it's focusing on the expertise or the line of expertise, so he failed. It's actually ineffective. So that's actually soft skill, the general skill that you possess. Now, the second is the hard skills. Hard skills are more job specific. So we have here the rules say the so here the rules say that, stay the wherever you may go. Let's say marketing, Microsoft Access, content strategy, QuickBooks, email correspondence, welding, and others are examples of hard skills. For example, worker A is an excellent welder in ABC company. If he transferred to another company, his skills will still be considered top-notch. So that's what we call hard skills, meaning to say these are the skills that are really into the field of your expertise. So if you want to apply something, let's say if you want to apply, or let's say an IT expert, so meaning to say your hard skills should be connected to the position. However, if you just want it general, so that's only soft skill. But in my case, I have both. I use soft skills. I include soft skills and hard skills in my what goes on in my resume. But in your case, you can also do that. And next, relevant trainings and references. Now, after skills, let's say for example, if you do have your, let's say awards, achievements or awards in your education, so you may add that. But if there is none, let's say for example, you may skip. You go directly with the relevant trainings and references. If you do have your trainings, it's still the same. You have to make sure that it's from the most recent training that you had down to the very old or the old or the previous training that you had. So for the relevant trainings and seminars, you need not put them all in your resume. Put only those seminars that are relevant in the position. So let's say for example, you're going to apply for an IT as an IT analyst, and you have there your seminar about, let's say about let's say babies. So meaning to say they're not really connected with computers. So you omit that kind of training. Again, only include the trainings that are relevant as well to the position that you're applying for. If you want to apply for an IT, then you have to make sure that your seminar should be related with IT. Let's say, for example, you have there your troubleshooting computers, so that's training. So you may include that because it's related to computers or IT. Next, that is for the relevant training. So same thing with the relevant training from the recent down to the old one. And the last, of course, but definitely not the least, we have the references. Now, this is important. Again, one tip. The this or I mean your character references are actually important because it will there are actually companies that they are really calling the people in your reference list, so that's why you have to be careful. So these are people not really related to you by blood. It could be your co-worker, your co-teacher, it could be your supervisor. So these are the people not related to you by blood. And make sure as well that you know their names, the position in their company, let's say for example, or their job, and then the address and their contact number. So meaning to say, you have their name. Let's say for example, in my case, let's say Anna C. Reyes, then we have their co-teacher or faculty, then you have their below the name of the school and the address and the contact number below. Now, make sure that you have, because the minimum is it's actually 2 to 3 character references. So another tip is make sure that you inform them that you will write their names or that they will be part of your character reference list. Because there are some points where if the company would call the person in your list and they're not aware, so obviously, and let's say for example, you had a fight. So, well, obviously, reality check, that person would not really be interested of telling good things, or let's say telling the prospective employer, yeah, not, it's like that. Well, reality, they will not really say something really good about you because you had a fight. However, if you inform them ahead and you already told them that you are part of their reference list, that they will be part of your reference list. So, meaning to say, they can be prepared in case that somebody will call. Of course, they will remember all the things that you did, the good things as well, your strength and your weaknesses. So they can actually tell the prospective employer. And there, that's it. So that's the end of our discussion, and that's the part of your resume. So again, so these are just the parts of your resume. So we have there your heading, your contact information. If you want to use functional resume, it should be educational background. Then you have there the work history. But if you don't have work history, just removed. Then you have there your awards. Then you have here the skills. Then you have there your seminars or trainings attended and character references. And another thing is, if you have your affiliation, let's say you're connected with a certain organization or company, or let's say organization outside, let's say for example you're a part of um, any organization, let's say Red Cross or so whatever, let's say Zonta Club or any club or organization, you may also write that. These are what we call optional parts, your affiliation and your objective also. However, there are some companies who are who have a very good impression as well if they have the objective in their resume. Because that's also another point wherein your prospective employer would really think that you have a goal in life, you have something, you have an objective that you really wanted to attain. So it's actually like a positive impression. But in my case, I just wanted to share my resume. I do have my personal information, of course, the heading, the contact information. I do also have my personal information other than the phone number. I do have my my birthday, my height, my weight, and then citizenship. I do have that. I have another area for that, and I call that personal information. Then followed by my work history, then my educational background, then my awards, then my skills, then my relevant trainings, and the character references. That's actually the order in my resume. So if you want also to follow that, it's okay. But if you want to use the functional resume, so that because you don't have yet the work history, it's still okay. Okay, so I hope that this had helped you, that the discussion has our discussion has helped in making your resume and making it more effective. So thank you so much. So if you have any inquiries, just feel free to send me a message, and you may like and subscribe my YouTube channel so that you will still you will stay updated on the things that about the, let's say, certain topics about in terms of the academe, and there are also stuffs that I actually post like in my hobbies. So thank you so much again. So this is Cindy, and thank you for having your day with me, sharing your day with me, and have a great day and stay safe. Bye bye.